Messiah said, if you are born again, you are not of this world anymore. So if you're not of this world, what world are you of? You're of another world. You are of the heavenly realm. And in the Bible, you see glimpses of it. Things of heaven suddenly appearing on earth. The angelic host, Bethlehem, all of a sudden they're worshiping, and then they disappear. Prophets suddenly taken to the throne room of God while they're on earth. John 20:26, you see Messiah walks through a wall. He just walks through. He is here, but he is of heaven, and he just goes through it. Same space, he goes right through. In the Torah, it tells Moses told, build the tabernacle according to the pattern you saw. This is the heavenly. So what they built, that tabernacle, which became the temple, is a representation of things in heaven, and it's even called the tent of meeting, God, man, heaven, earth. In Hebrews it says what? We have this confidence to enter the throne room of God. But wait a minute, the throne room of God is in heaven. It doesn't say we have confidence that one day we will enter it. Well, we will one day stand, but it says we have confidence now to enter the throne room of God. How can you enter a place of heaven while you're on earth? That's the whole mystery. You're born again. What does it say? You're born from what? Above. What's above? Heaven. You are born from heaven. That means you are from above this life. You weren't before you were born again, but now you are. You're above this life. You are of the heavenly realm. You're just in the earthly realm. But this earthly realm isn't your realm anymore. Isn't your home anymore. It's only your mission field. You are of that. So you're in earth, but you're not to be living an earthly life, an earthbound life. So Colossians says, set your eyes on the things above. Because the things above, it says your life is there, above. In Ephesians 2, it says, he saved you and he seated you where? In the heavenly realms. Not what he will, but he says he seated you now. In Messiah, your life is joined to Messiah, and Messiah is of heaven. So it's that not only it's the great beyond, yes, it is, but it's also in your midst. In fact, it's in you. Your life is joined to eternity. And what you do in heaven and earth, what you do in this life, it's joined together. What you do now affects heaven. What you do on earth touches heaven. You might be doing one thing here, but it's touching heaven there. They have these virtual reality goggles. And sometimes there are people who put this on the web, they put it on their grandparents, and they go through this thing and they laugh because their grandparents are in this other world. But you're in this virtual world, but you're still here, so you're looking at this virtual world, but while you move in the virtual, you're moving your hand in the real world. Well, it's kind of like this life is the virtual world compared to heaven. Heaven's the real world. This is like virtual, but what you do in this life affects that life. What you do in this life, it's kind of like the testing ground. He was faithful in little, will be faithful in much. Imagine you had on these goggles for your whole life, and all you knew was the virtual world. And you would never, and the people tell you about the real world, you say, I don't believe it. I don't believe there's another world. But the thing is, it's the other world that is more real than your goggles. And you'd have to have faith to believe it because you got your goggles on, but that's the only way you could see reality, by having faith. The spiritual, we kind of think that the spiritual is less real. The spiritual is more real, and it's all around you. But when you get caught up in this virtual world, this world of shadows, you don't see that anymore. Only because you got too caught up. The spiritual is the reality of realities. But most of the time we get so caught up in things, in business, in worries, in a million things we want that we stop seeing the heavenly realm. But what does it say? It says we live by faith, not by sight. Well, because the things that we see are passing away. But the things we don't see are forever. What's it telling you? It's telling you that this is not as real as that. What you see is not as real as what you don't see. While we look, and get this, while we look to the things that are not seen. How do you do that? While we look to the things that are not seen, for the things that are seen are only temporary, passing away, but the things that are not seen are eternal. We look to what is you cannot see. Why? Only by faith. But it's real.
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Hope of the World is dedicated to the goal of spreading God's Word and salvation to every land and people. We do this by spreading the Word throughout the world and sponsoring compassion projects to the most poor and needy around the earth. To get in touch or have a part in God's work, just write to Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Or go to hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821.